Hello, and welcome to this class on modes and accompaniment styles. We're going to explore how to change a tune in many different ways. In fact, with these techniques, you could actually play the same tune for 15 to 20 minutes and not get bored with it, because you're constantly doing something different with it. And it's constantly changing to reflect a different mood or a different circumstance or a different style. These techniques can be used playing at the bedside in a therapeutic music setting, or they can be used for your own personal edification in your own personal meditation and prayer time. My name is Mary Stevens. I am a certified clinical musician, and I am also the owner and program director of Harp for Healing, which offers the clinical musician certification program. So, what can you do with a song after you've learned it and you kind of know it, but you get tired of playing it the same way over and over and over and over again? Well, there are lots of things that you can use. One of the simplest things is to simply change the tempo, to play it faster or slower than what you've become associated with, that you associate that song to be. Play it at a faster or a slower tempo, and it becomes a different feel, a different song. So we're going to be working in the key of C. Seems like we always work in the key of C, and that's just so that everybody has the opportunity to play. No matter what your harp is tuned in, you can usually get to the key of C. So we're going to work with the tune Sweet Hour of Prayer. Add a simple accompaniment. Okay, now by simply changing the tempo, I can change the feel of that piece by playing it faster. At the tempo that I originally played it, it was just kind of a neutral tempo, just kind of what we're used to it. It's not driving forward, it's not really going to sleep, it's not really moving motivationally, it's just restful, it's just at a comfortable tempo. Fast tempo. And all of it becomes a skip. So just changing the tempo. Now suppose we change it to be slow and roll the chords a little bit, and all of a sudden it becomes a prayer. So that's one thing you can do, just simply changing the tempo. You don't even have to change a whole lot of what you're actually playing. But you do have to get yourself to break out of the mode or the mindset that it needs to be at a certain tempo. The way to do that is get your metronome out. Play it at every tempo. Play it slow, play it fast, play it in between. Take a tempo and play it at that speed, and then increase the metronome. You know, if you played it at 60 beats per minute, play it at 65. And then play it at 70, and then play it at 75, and then play it at 80, so that you can get broken out of your mindset of what tempo that song has to be, so that you can find the music at any tempo, so that you can make it prayerful, or you can make it joyful. Okay? The other thing you can do is change your pitch range. The easiest way to change pitch range, of course, is to just move up an octave. Change pitch range and tempo. I didn't really change my accompaniment at all. I was just doing it faster, so it had a different feel. Change it down low. This again is a very neutral position. melody in the bottom. It has a more soothing and comforting feel. How about if we took it way down here? General rule, low notes soothe, high notes stimulate. Low notes soothe, high notes stimulate. If you want someone to relax, if you want yourself to relax, descending arpeggios are good. Because it has a pulling you down type thing, calming you down, encouraging you to breathe, exhale completely. So if you want to do of course, we all know if you're going to be playing on these low bass notes, you got to watch out for buzzes, and it's a good idea to muffle after you've played a string and you go to the next string, especially if it's a neighboring string. You want to muffle so that it doesn't turn into a muddy mess down there. Okay, so we've talked about changing tempo. We've talked about changing pitch range. The next thing is to change the time signature. Sweet Hour of Prayer. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. It's in 3/4 time. What would happen if we changed it to 4/4 time? Now, if you're going to change it to 4/4 time, you still want the first note of each measure to be the same as it is in the original. So what you're going to have to do is lengthen a note or add a rest or something so that you get 4 beats in each measure and then get back to the same note on the downbeat. So we need 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. And you can lengthen whatever note you want to. You can 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. And you could repeat notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. That's a different feel then. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. This is a circular motion. 3/4 time is generally a circular motion, whereas 4/4 is more of a back and forth. So this is a firm feel. So you can change the time signature into, if it's in 3/4 time, change it to 4/4. If it's in 4/4 time, change it to 3/4. You're going to have to take 2 of those quarter notes and combine them into eighth notes or something similar to that. But experiment with different rhythmic patterns. Experiment with dotted rhythm patterns. Experiment with whatever it takes to fill the time signature of that many beats. But if you can just get so that you can take a tune and change it into a different time signature, it gives you a whole new bucket of toys to play with as far as changing a tune to make it sound a little bit different. So we talked about tempo, we talked about pitch range, we talked about time signature. Now we're going to talk about rhythmic accompaniment patterns. And on the last page of your handout, I've got some ideas for accompaniment patterns that you can use. And you can vary these however you want to. This is just a starting point to start with. So the first one is the one I've been using most of the time. It's just the block chords. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. instead of doing just one chord per measure, you can do 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, so that I'm playing the chord on beat 1 and beat 3. Gives it a little bit more rhythmic, a little bit more of a driving forward pattern. Let's change the time signature to 4/4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Playing the chords on beat 1 and beat 3. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Or you can do different rhythms in your left hand, whatever. Just block chord. This gives you a feeling of stability and strength. This is solid. This is firm. This is not going anywhere. So that's a good pattern for when you need to be grounded, when you need to just get a backbone and stay grounded. Okay, so this gives you strength, gives you a feeling of strength. If you wanted a lighter feel, you can use the Alberti bass pattern. The Alberti bass pattern, you take 3 notes, and this works with any chord. You can do it with a C chord, an F chord, a G chord, a B flat chord, an A flat chord, any chord you want to. And you can do it in any inversion. But you get your chord placed, and then you think bottom, top, middle, top, bottom, top, middle, top. I'm playing a C chord, and I'm playing bottom C, top G, middle E, top G, C, G, E, G, bottom, top, middle, top. This gives you constant fluid motion. If you play lots of classical music, Mozart and Beethoven, you're going to be playing lots of Alberti bass patterns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. There, I'm playing an inverted F chord. 4, back to a C chord. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and a G chord. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Or you could go 1 and 2 and oops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2. Changing the tempo to get a different feel. That's a very different feel than this. Right? It's got a lot more motion. It's moving forward. It's got a place to go. Whereas this is more reassuring, more restful. If you were going to do this in 3/4 time, there's a couple patterns you can do. It's still the bottom, top, middle, top. But because we've only got 3 beats to fill instead of 4, you're going to go 1 and 2 and 3 and repeat that 3-1 pattern. Bottom, top, middle, top, middle, top, bottom, top, middle, top, middle, top. So that you're filling all 3 beats. Or there's another 3-chord pattern where you can go 1, bottom, top, middle, top, bottom, top, middle, top, bottom, top. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It gives kind of a kick to that 3rd beat. It gives it a little bit more of a forward movement. That's a couple of variations that you've got on the Alberti bass pattern. Bottom, top, middle, top, bottom, top, middle, top. And just by varying the pattern a little bit, you can adapt it into 3/4 time. So that's the Alberti pattern. The next pattern is the Alberti pattern. Let's take the Alberti pattern up. Well, we're going to change the tempo, and we're going to change the pitch range, and we're going to change the accompaniment pattern to make it more of a music box feel. Come up high. And we all know that a music box eventually slows down. So we changed all three elements. We changed the tempo, we changed the pitch, we changed the accompaniment pattern to get a music box feel, which you can use for, well, what would you use a music box for? For young children, for a lullaby, for just a gentle sound that puts them to sleep, or that stimulates them and wakes them up. You know, we use music boxes for both purposes, so you can use it either way. The next pattern is the clave pattern, and this one is a fun dance party pattern. If you damp each note, you get a little bit cleaner sound. And what I'm playing, I'm working off of a C chord. I'm playing the root of the chord, which is C, the fifth of the chord, which is G, and then going an octave lower to play that G again, and then back to your root. So it's C, G, G, C, G, G, C, G. And you can count this if you want to, but it's a lot easier to just feel it. So counting it, it's 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 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 2, and 3, and 4, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 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 and 2, and 3, and 4, and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So it gives you a dance feel. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's fun to take a song that is, you associate it with a prayer song, and you turn it into this dance feel, and it just brings a whole new meaning to prayer. So that's the clave pattern. That's a 4/4 pattern. If you want to make it a 3/4 pattern, 1, 2, and 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and 3, 1, 2. Dance pattern, fun pattern, party. Okay? If you want to go the opposite direction and get more of a soothing, comforting, relaxing sound, you use the big rolled chords. We're harpists, so we love doing these big rolled chords. Roll between the two hands if there's room. Move your left hand down. Lots of open space. Open space meaning that you're not hitting a string at that point. You're not plucking anything. You're just letting the sound come out. that's a like a warm embrace. It's like a hug of love and a hug of peace. Just the big sound. And so forth. If you want to have more of a reassuring sound, that's where you do the rolling chords. The rolling arpeggios, the long extended arpeggios. And of course you can adapt those rolling arpeggios to any key signature. You can do it in 3/4, you can do it in 4/4. There's lots of different patterns that you can do. 2 and 3 and 1 and 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 2 and 3 and... Or you can just roll all the way up, eighth notes all the way up and all the way down, put some descending arpeggios in there. You do want to try to balance upward movement with downward movement, unless you're definitely trying to move toward either an uplifting or a soothing thing. If you're not sure which direction to go, then make sure that you balance this with a little bit of this, so that it's not a continual ramp into the same direction, that we're neutralizing everything and just keeping it all on a very calm basis. All right, so we've done tempo, we've done pitch range, we have done accompaniment patterns, and we have done time signatures. Now we get into the fun part, the modes part, transposing into a different mode. We're not going to change any levers. We're going to change it, stay in the same key signature. So we're not going to flip any levers. We're just going to learn where are the modes within the same key. And what I'm going to show you here will apply to any major key. We just figure out what key signature you want to use, and all of this will apply to any key signature. Because what we're doing is leaving the key signature the same and changing our home base. So in modal speak, your major scale, and in this case we're using the key signature of no sharps, we're using the key signature of C, and that is also the Ionian mode. And in every one of these scales we've got 8 notes. So the first thing you want to do is number the scale degrees so that you know what is scale degree number 1, what is scale degree number 2, what is scale degree number 3. In the key of C, 1 is C, 2 is D, 3 is E, 4 is F, 5 is G, 6 is A, 7 is B, and 8, you can either call that 1, and remember that it's an octave higher, or you can call it 8, 1 or 8 for that top note. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we number the scale degrees. Now, next step is to go to your melody, whatever melody you're going to use. We're going to use Sweet Hour of Prayer. Sweet Hour of Prayer works well because, first of all, a lot of the movement is stepwise movement, which makes it easier to transpose into a different mode. And also, it's a very familiar tune, and it adapts well to the different modes. It'll give you a completely different feel depending on what mode we're in. So, no sharps or flats, no accidentals. Make sure you do this with a song with no accidentals. It's confusing enough, you don't want to add accidentals to it. So, okay. So, in Sweet Hour of Prayer, it's written out in the key of C. So we don't have to transpose it to play it in Ionian mode. But we're going to go through the process anyway. First thing you want to do is figure out, okay, where's home base? What's the home base for the mode that I'm using? I'm using Ionian mode. Home base is the same as the major key signature, as the major scale. So we're in the key of C, our home base is C, that's scale degree number 1. So on that first note of the melody, that's C, you're going to write a 1 under that note. Make sure you don't confuse these numbers we're writing in with finger numbers or with counting numbers. These are scale degrees, and this will help you to transpose. You can also use it to transpose into a completely different key, to change key signatures and change it to a key. But that's another another subject. We're just going to transpose it to different modes. Okay, so we got C to E in the melody. C is scale degree number 1. E, C, D, E. E is scale degree number 3. So you're going to write a number 3 under the E. And I've already got this done, this little bit of it done for you, just to explain. So we got 1, 3. The next note is an F. F is 1, 2, 3, 4. Fourth scale degree, so we write a 4 under the F and a 5 under the G. So the first notes of the melody, 1, 3, 4, 5. 1, 3, 4, 5. Think about that. 1, 3, 4, 5. Don't think letter names, think numbers. 1, 3, 4, 5. Now move your finger up so that your fourth finger is on the D. And we're going to go 1, 3, 4, 5, counting D as 1. So D is 1, 3 is going to be F, D, E, F. And then we're going to keep going up. So 1, 3, 4, 5. 1, 3, 4, 5. Now repeat that same pattern starting on E. 1, 3, 4, 5. 1, 3, 4, 5. Now on F. 1, 3, 4, 5. 1, 3, 4, 5. Now start on G. 1, 3, 4, 5. 1, 3, 4, 5. Start on A. 1, 3, 4, 5. 1, 3, 4, 5. Start on B. 1, 3, 4, 5. 1, 3, 4, 5. And then we're back to C. 1, 3, 4, 5. Congratulations, you've just transposed that little part of the melody into every one of the modes, into all 7 modes. Yay for you. So that's the process that we're going to use. So what you want to do now is go through Sweet Hour of Prayer and write those scale degree numbers under every note. And if you're watching this on a video, of course you can pause the video and take care of that. And please do that because you're going to have those numbers in order to be able to continue forward with me and keep up with what I'm doing. So write your scale degree numbers under those melodies and we'll resume. Okay, so you've got your numbers written down. Let's go through the whole song and make sure that we've got the same numbers. All right, so we start when we're on the C, home base, and here we go. 1, 3, 4, 5. It repeats the 5, 6, 7, 8, 6, 5, 3, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 3, 4, 5, 5, 6, 7, 8, 6, 5, 3, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1. All right, did you get them all right? I hope so. All right, now we're going to start moving it into the different modes. And we're probably not going to do the whole thing. We're probably going to just do a phrase or two because we're going to run out of time if we do the whole thing. Let's use the Lydian mode. The Lydian mode starts on the 4th note of whatever major scale we're working off of. So in the C major scale, C, D, E, F. F is your 4th note. So we're going to start on the F, go from F to F, and we're not going to change any sharps or flats. There's your Lydian mode. Let's number the notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now probably the 4th note of that scale is going to drive your ear crazy. That one right there. So how do you work around that? What do you do with that 4th note? You don't want to leave it out because that's the note that is characteristic of the Lydian mode. So you want to make sure you keep that note in there. But what you want to do is introduce that note in the accompaniment before you play it in the melody. So on the chart showing the common chords for each mode, the best chords to start with when you're first starting out, the Lydian mode, the two chords you want to use are the 1 chord and the 2 chord. Your 1 chord is F, your 2 chord is G. And it gives you this bright fairy tale type feel, because both of those chords are major chords. Here we go, we're going to add the melody on top of that, just rocking back and forth between those 2 chords. This is kind of a fantasy land. This is when you need to escape reality for a while. And you just need to be someplace where all is butterflies and rainbows. Lydian mode is good for that. So now let's do it in the Mixolydian mode. Mixolydian mode starts on the 5th note of the major scale that we're referencing. We're referencing the C major scale, C, D, E, F, G. G is your 5th note, so the Mixolydian mode is going to start on G, go to G. There's your Mixolydian mode. The note that is characteristic of the Mixolydian mode is that 7th note. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7. So what are you going to do with that 7th note? Well, you're going to introduce it in the accompaniment before you play it in the melody. So the chords, according to the chart that I've given you, the chords that you're going to use in the Mixolydian mode to start is the 1 chord and the 7 chord. 1 chord is G, 7 chord is F. It's the same 2 chords that we were using in the Lydian mode. But this mode is going to have a different feel because our home base is the G. Because it's the 1 chord is a major chord, it's considered a major sounding mode. And it generally has a happy sound, but that flat and 7th gives it almost a bluesy sound. There's a little bit of melancholy in there. So whereas the Lydian mode was all fairies and rainbows, the Mixolydian mode is life is good, but there are difficulties. But life is pretty good. It's a pretty optimistic mode. But it doesn't deny the problems. It says, yeah, there are some problems, but I'm okay. Everything's going to be okay because life is still good. So that's your Mixolydian mode. Then we go into the Dorian mode. The Dorian mode is a minor sounding mode. And the Dorian mode starts on the 2nd note of the major scale that we are referencing. We're referencing the C major scale. So the 2nd note of the C major scale, C, D, is the D. We're going to go from D to D. Here's your Dorian mode. We're going to number it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Note 1 is D. Note 3 is F. That gets us started on our melody. Okay, so here comes the melody in Dorian mode. 5, 6, 7, 8, 6, 5, 3, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1. Chord chords that you're going to start in the Dorian mode, look at the chart, 1 chord and 7 chord, just like the Mixolydian, 1 and 7. 1, 7. But the difference between the Mixolydian and this mode is that your 1 chord is a minor chord. Here we go. 1, 3, 4, 5, 5, 6, 7, 8, 6, 5, 3, 3, 2, 1. Just rocking back and forth between those 2 chords. The Dorian mode is a very contemplative mode. It's a little more serious than the Mixolydian mode. The Dorian mode says, life is painful. I'll be okay, but life is painful. So the emphasis is a little different. Whereas on the Mixolydian mode it was, life is good, but there's a few problems. The Dorian mode is more of a, life is heavy right now and it's hard, but it's going to be okay. So whereas the Mixolydian is more positive outlook, the Dorian is more of a realistic. And so it's a good mode for when life is hard. And we all know that the Psalms are filled with times when life was hard. There's nothing wrong with saying, I'm sad. There's nothing wrong with saying, I'm upset. You have to express those feelings. And the Dorian mode is a great mode for expressing that. So that's the Dorian mode. Now we're going to do the Aeolian mode. The Aeolian mode is a fairly easy mode because we are already familiar with it. We already know that the Ionian mode is the relative minor of whatever key you're using. So in the key of C, the 6th note of the scale is the Ionian mode, and the 6th note of the scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, is the A. So our Aeolian mode scale is A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. Numbering the notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Chords to use, you can use the 1 chord, the 4 chord, and 5 chord. Since you're already familiar with the Aeolian mode, you can use whatever chords you would normally use in the minor keys. Just remember that it's natural minor. We don't use the harmonic or the melodic minor scales. We're using the natural minor scale. You can start with the 1 and the 7 again. Do not use 1 and 2 because your 2 chord is diminished. The Aeolian mode is kind of a somber mode. The Aeolian mode is a way to express discouragement or just feeling down. And sometimes you don't even know why, but you just need to cry. The Aeolian mode is good for that. And we all know that there are times we come to God in prayer and we just need to cry our hearts out. Aeolian mode is a good mode for that. And then once you start feeling better, you can move to Dorian. Gregorian. Then you can move to Mixolydian. All of the anguish out, then you can move to fairy tale. I'm in Lydian mode now. And you've had your escape, and it's time to come back to reality. You're back at home, and it feels so good to get all of that out of your system and come back to reality. So that's a way to explore Sweet Hour of Prayer in every mode. You can do this with any hymn. You can do this with any song. Just go through, number your scale degrees, number your notes, your melody according to scale degree, and then you can play that tune in any mode. You might like it in some of the modes, you might not. That's okay. You're experimenting. So, but it will release a whole new world of emotional content with that hymn. So I invite you to use these techniques in your own meditation. If you're at therapeutic music, then at the bedside, to express whatever it is that the person who is listening is feeling. And in your personal time, whatever you yourself are feeling. Gives you a whole new avenue of musical expression and of prayer. So thanks for listening. I hope to see you someday. Bye.